Now, Israel, a Middle Eastern country on the Mediterranean Sea, is regarded by Jews and Christians as well as Muslims as the biblical Holy Land. But this state is also powerful in trade and investment. Well, unfortunately, Ghana's trade volume with Israel is so low. In fact, the trade with Ghana decreased by 25% in 2019. Exports also plummeted by 30%, with key export products being chemicals and metal. I sat with the Israeli ambassador to Ghana, Shani Cooper, for an honest discussion on Ghana-Israel trade and diplomatic ties. Here's more. Your Excellency, grateful that you joined us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Charles.
So it's been 9 years since Israel and Ghana, renewed relationships, bilateral ties. You reopened your embassy in Ghana. We also opened a new one in Tel Aviv. What has changed in the span of these 9 years?
So, first of all, I must say that we reestablished the relations 26 years ago. We built the embassy here in 2011, 9 years ago. Actually, the person who reestablished the relations was a late former President Rawlings.
Sure.
Yes, and it's interesting because the first president who established the relations was President Dr. Nkrumah. Both were very different people, but they both understood the potential in the relations.
What was the relationship with the late Jerry Rawlings?
He met with our former Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Shimon Peres, in Washington, and they were from the same generation, they knew the same people, and they said, okay, it's time now to move on and to go back to the relations. So it was, he had a very, very warm spot in his heart for Israel. I met with him several times, and it's a great loss for Ghana, I must say, and to the world. But to answer your question about the change, since we really built here the embassy, I think that the main change was on the consular services. And, it's surprising, but the consular services is a pivot of the diplomatic relations, because once you can receive a visa to Israel here in Accra, and you don't have to go to Nigeria to receive your visa, there are certainly more people from Ghana visiting Israel, more Israelis, business people coming to Ghana. So we saw a rise in the business sector. We saw a rise in tourism to Israel.
And could you help us with some percentages regarding the rise in these, visits?
So unfortunately, I don't really know the exact numbers, but there is room for progress. We're talking about hundreds of people coming every year. It's not a lot. We should do something about it, and we are. I think, though, that one of the things that another point in the timeline in the relations between Israel and Ghana happened 2.5 years ago, when the government of Israel decided to make Ghana a focus country for the trade and economic in West Africa. So Ghana became the only state in West Africa to have an Israeli trade and economic office. And since then, we see every day Israeli companies asking to do business in Ghana, and really attracted to the stability and the growth here in Ghana.
Speaking of trade, of course, this is what you told one of our media houses just a while ago, that we are now moving away from immediate emergency aid to sustainable cooperation, and we are using available local materials and labor. Of course, establishing bilateral ties is not just about mutual benefits, but also advancing your cause as Israel. So what exactly did you mean in this particular statement? Because it carries two major points: cooperation and labor, local labor. Yeah,
definitely. Well, this quote came at around the midst of the corona pandemic. And first of all, let me maybe talk about Mashav. Mashav is the Israeli Development and Cooperation Agency, and it is under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We believe in a holistic solution. If we invest in agriculture, we cannot only invest in this sector and let all the other sectors left behind. We have to do a holistic job, so we are focusing on agriculture and giving support to education, health, and all the other to enlarge the ecosystem. With that, we believe in cooperation. We will never come and say, this is the solution, take it or leave it. No, this is not the way we are working, even in culture, okay, even in dance, okay. We are also always looking for collaboration. And this is what we've done in the coronavirus. We took at the beginning, we saw that there was a huge need for PPEs. So it was a humanitarian aid first that we ran into the country. And then when time passed by, we saw that Ghana is very capable of handling itself in the coronavirus, and we made two changes. The first one, as you said, is moving from immediate aid into sustainable development. It means that instead of giving a prepared masks, nose masks, we collaborated with Accra Digital Hub and gave them the know-how of how to manufacture themselves face shields. So supporting the materials that are brought from here and supporting the protocols of cooperation, they were able to manufacture by 3D printers protocols, face shields, to the Ministry of Health.
So it's interesting that COVID-19 has set the center stage for a new form of economic bilateral trade between Ghana and Israel, right? But I wanted us to also delve into the numbers to get to know the kind of investment volumes that Israel has injected into the economy so far.
Yes, so this is exactly the second change that I wanted to delve in. The change is to move from the immediate ramifications of the coronavirus pandemic on health into the collateral damage, which is economy and food security. So when we are looking at what the things that we should do now in Ghana, and generally we have been doing it during the whole years, we see agriculture and entrepreneurship and innovation in the first two priorities. And this is what we do. We are working together with the Ministry of Agriculture and with the other ministries on making new jobs by entrepreneurship and securing the food to Ghanaians by capacity building to farmers.
Of course, when it comes to agriculture, Ghana, as you know, been touted elsewhere, is doing massively well with the Plenty for Food and Jobs program. 750,000 jobs created so far. Just that we're having issues with a food glut, considering the ready markets, which oftentimes gets disrupted in post-harvest losses. So where exactly does Israel's investment climate fall within the scope of agriculture?
We have several things, of course. Capacity building is something that is done not only by looking at the other persons or the other states' vulnerabilities, but also at your capabilities. So Israel does not grow rice. We don't have enough water for rice. But we do grow a lot of fresh vegetables, and this is something that we are working in Ghana in order to establish fresh vegetables, infrastructure, added value to the food chain, to the crops. So these are things that we are doing, and I must tell you that we have been doing it since 1958 here, and a lot of people that are very familiar today in the business world started their road in Israel. For example, Darko Farms. Do you know Darko Farms? Yes.
The largest poultry farm in Ghana.
Exactly.
But it's interesting you said that Israel doesn't, cultivate rice. Here in Ghana we do, and in excesses. Just that local consumption is low, and it has resulted in a rice glut. We have, showed pictures of this time and time again. Where do you see partnerships when it comes to the rice, industry in Ghana?
Rice, maize, millet, all of these things that need a lot of water are not being grown in Israel because we are a desert. But we found a way to irrigate rice with a drip irrigation. So each plant is given few drops, and actually the crop is much, much bigger than in different ways of irrigation. So this is something that we can definitely do here because, for example, in the north, there is a problem of water shortage, and we will be very, very happy to show it. And actually, there are already some Israeli companies who offer this solution.
You are not just the ambassador for Ghana. Of course, you are for Liberia and even that of Sierra Leone. Now, if you're looking at the economies of all three countries, we are just different in our own way. Ghana is much more advancing economically as compared to Sierra Leone, Liberia having some few touches there. But I want you to delve on the economic prospects of these countries, especially when your recent publication by the Israeli Export Institute that show that exports grew by 30%.
Trade relations with West Africa, as it sees the whole Africa as the new destination for investment. This research wasn't done by accident. It was done because the chiefs of the Israeli policy would like to see what is the potential in Africa in order to refer it. And I must say that, again, talking about the coronavirus pandemic, there is a huge potential right now. Look at the other economies, the Western economies. They are all collapsing. The damage to the Ghanaian economy or some other African economies is lower comparing to the damage done to other economies. This is the time for Ghana to jump with its economy, and I'm sure that we are going to be next to Ghana supporting it.
That's great. So when everything is said and done, we're hoping to see the 1%, the awful 1%, mark jump up, hopefully.
Definitely, yes.
Talk to us about the avenues of, entering to Israel. Has there been any talks of a waiving of visa requirements in the future? Well,
this is actually a reciprocal step. So if we are waiving the fee, Ghana also should waive the fee. So do you know how much Ghana charges for a visa?
You tell me.
Okay, so Israel is charging 144 cedis per person for visa to Israel. Ghana is charging from Israelis 800 cedis per visa. So it will be the decision of Ghana probably.
Have you started discussions?
No, because this is not the main issue on the item. I can tell you that we are negotiating on other things. For example, frameworks of or legal framework for economic activity. We have a trade and economic agreement between Ghana and Israel that was signed in 1968. One of the first agreements that was signed between Ghana and other countries. We are negotiating on renewing it and redefining it, because what we had in 1968 as a developing country and what Ghana had in 1968 is totally different than the things that we have right now. We also have negotiations on double taxation avoidance, and this will encourage business people to do more business, because they will not have to pay taxes both to Ghana and to Israel. There will be only one country that will receive their taxes.
So let's end on this note. The elections coming up shortly, and of course with it comes the uncertainty when it comes to economic investment. As we all do say, the investment community is not much more comfortable with uncertainties. But moving forward, where do you see bilateral trade and talks of investment 2021 moving forward next 10 years? Because 1960, that you engaged ties with Ghana, you're still having 1%
Yes.
of trade, which is awful. So
Yes.
where do you see the repositioning moving forward?
First of all, I already see it. Again, I have to stress that 1% is only in commodities, but when you're talking about investments, we are talking about hundreds of millions of investments. I for sure see us moving on in two directions, and they are contributing each other. The first one is the development. This year we gave 245,000 Ghanaian cedis to young entrepreneurs on agriculture, on innovation, health, in order to boost their projects. We have neonatal units in Kumasi, in 2 hospitals, taking care of 1,500 babies a year. This is something that you cannot measure what's there, but definitely this is the way that we are going on: agriculture, innovation, health, water, and cybersecurity, because these are the things that we believe that we can contribute to Ghana. The other way that we are going through is business. And again, I see more and more Israeli business people coming here, attracted to the stability, to the democracy of the country. And although that elections are elections, and in any country you don't know, see the US for example, you don't know who will take the chair. The relations, the bilateral relations between Israel and Ghana were always good and were always stable. So I believe that together with the Israeli know-how and the Ghanaian enthusiasm and capabilities, the sky is the limit.
Your Excellency, many thanks for having us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.